When a GTA first starts teaching, there is most assuredly a sense of nervousness that they're going to feel. And there are a variety of ways that you can help avoid feeling nervous. Having a good comfort level about where your classroom is located and how all the equipment inside the classroom works is, of course, one of many ways in order to help become more comfortable within the learning environment. Making sure that you have a good understanding that very first day of your syllabus, understanding that the syllabus is a contract between you and the students, and that you are prepared to discuss it on that first day and answer any questions that may arise. Make sure that you have a good understanding that your students are nervous too, and you need to make sure that you have some type of an icebreaker activity so that the students will do a lot of the talking and things will break up a little bit and it will have a more friendly work environment. You do want to be friendly. Generally speaking, in American classrooms, the teacher is a little more informal, and there is a friendliness that is ascribed for a teacher between them and the students. But make sure that though you want to be friendly, you want to make sure that you are the authority figure and that you have control of your classroom. You want them to feel comfortable, but you don't want them to feel so in place that they can undermine the authority in the classroom. There, of course, are tests and quizzes which are supplied by your departments, but there's also informal and ungraded assignments that you can do to provide formative assessment, just to make sure that your students are understanding what you're talking about. It can be a simple quiz that's just a check for understanding. It can be questioning, or you can ask them to produce some type of work that would demonstrate what you've been learning. You do have the responsibility to provide access and accommodations for your students, those of whom who have disabilities, and to allow them full participation within the educational process. However, it is their responsibility to provide you a form that has been filled out from the Disability Resources for Students. This student may submit the memo suggesting that they have a need for accommodations, but you do not have to provide those accommodations retroactively. The DRS does provide a proctoring service for students who meet these needs so that they can have perhaps the use of assistive technologies or an actual reader or scribe. But they do not have to use this if they do not wish. It is something up to the student's choice. In terms of academic misconduct, there are a variety of terms that you need to be aware of, and terms that you need to make your students aware of. Of course, plagiarism, being the adoption or reproduction of ideas, works, statements, images, or works of another person as one's own without proper attribution. Cheating is the use or attempt to use of unauthorized materials, information, or aids in any academic test or exercise. And then fabrication is the unauthorized falsification or invention of any information for the use of an academic exercise. Within the classroom, there should be no children. However, you do have, as an instructor, the discretion to make a rare exception should an unforeseen emergency pop up. It is important to understand that children must remain in the classroom and are not allowed to wander around the building or campus. A variety of your responsibilities may include preparation and delivery of lectures, the monitor of examinations. You will have to grade exams and papers, conduct discussion or laboratory groups, conduct drills and or practice sessions, and then, of course, tutor students on a one-to-one basis. The most important thing to remember is that you discuss your responsibilities with your supervising professor so that you and they have a good understanding of what is expected of you. The primary source for guidance is your department. But don't forget, ask other TAs who have been in your position before or who have worked with other classes to help you with guidance of your exercises. The best teachers show enthusiasm. They have a rapport with students and an interest in their lives. That they are able to create an organization and challenge to other students so that that the students feel like they are pushed in the classroom. It is important to make sure that there is frequent student-faculty contact both in and out of class, and that there is an encouragement for students to be able to work together. Active learning is super encouraged. It is important that students do not just sit in class, but they are actively involved in the learning process. Students do need and desire feedback that is both accurate, appropriate, as well as timely. And then they need to be able to have a good understanding of how to manage their time adequately. And so it would be well worth your time to be able to provide tips and tricks to be able to help them work effectively in their studies. It is vital that students feel free to be able to ask questions of their teachers. When they do ask questions, it's normal, and they're not challenging you necessarily. It simply is a way to clarify their understanding. When you do not have an answer, make sure that you say, I don't know the answer to that question, and that you'll find it out, rather than to pretend you don't know or to just go on and try to ignore the question. I mean, one of your major roles has to do with making sure that students have a good, complete understanding of what it is they are doing. And so making sure that you are answering their questions helps them feel comfortable within the classroom, that says, hey, that you are trying to